Right then, lads and lasses, how we doing, and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the match preview. Hope you're all having a fantastic day today, ladies and gentlemen, as we will take a look at our opponents for tomorrow night, Crystal Palace. We'll take a look at how they've done this season, individual players' form, and of course their, in my opinion, pretty fantastic game plan. And of course on the opposite side of that, we'll take a look at how Newcastle United can attack their game plan, how we'll line up, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, always a little bit of info here and there. And I've just got to say straight off the bat, lads and lasses, this is the most well-informed in detail sort of match preview I've ever done. I've started from 8 o'clock this morning. I really have dug deep into the information here. So I hope you all enjoy it, ladies and gentlemen. Sit back, stay tuned in. And just before we take a look at our opponents tomorrow, Crystal Palace, of course, 8 o'clock kickoff at night at Selhurst Park. We'll take a look at the injury update given to us by Eddie Howe this morning in his press conference. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. Now, of course, when Eddie Howe gives us these injury updates, ladies and gentlemen, he's always so discreet and so misleading as well. He could say someone's season's over, which, by the way, he has confirmed. Before we even speak about it, Lewis Miley and Joe Willock's season is over, and it's not more so than being out for the season, but with being crucial players for next season. And of course, young Lewis Miley as well. He's 17 years old. The medical staff spoke about not wanting to sort of overload Lewis Miley with a schedule. 26 appearances this season for a 17-year-old lad. Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Premier League. He has done so well for us this season. Honestly, he's genuinely filled in the shoes, which in this injury crisis he shouldn't have had to. But he wants to keep them as crucial players for next season. Doesn't want to burn them out. So he's confirmed their season is over due to sort of, resting them and taking care of them. Not more so actually being injured for the whole season. But ladies and gentlemen, honestly, he is so misleading. But this is the injury news he has given us. But just before we get into that, first of all, I want to say thank you. 2.4 thousand views on the last video on that kit leak. Honestly, you're smashing it every single video. So get down there now and hit that like button. Honestly, I feel like we're going to create something here. The community's growing and I really do appreciate that. I just want you lot to come on here, get your sort of news off me, feel kind of well informed after you watch these videos, and let's just hope Newcastle United can do the best. We can get all the sort of attraction we can on the channel, because I really do appreciate it, ladies and gentlemen. Honestly, it's something I really do want to do. So subscribe if you are new around here, turn them notification bells on so you're always early for the video, and let me know down in the comments below. Of course, you get mine at the very end of the video. What's your score prediction for this game against Crystal Palace? It's going to be a 0-0, isn't it? 3 out of the last 4 times we've played them, it's going to be 0-0. No, look, that's not my score prediction, I'll just say that. I've went for a quite positive one. But on the rest of the injury news from Eddie Howe this morning, he's also confirmed that Trippier, Nick Pope, Miguel Almiron and Joe Linton, all them 4 players there, are not training, but he hopes they will feature this season. I thought Joe Linton and Nick Pope was meant to be back this month. Have they had another setback? Or was Eddie Howe just sort of giving us a false little bit of joy there? But also, speaking of Callum Wilson, who, sorry, I did get a little bit muddled up there. Callum Wilson has trained well this week, according to Eddie Howe. And that is a very, like I said on the last video, I can't remember which video it was, but it's certainly a very welcome back, isn't it? Not just because he's a fantastic player, although it is so agonising that he cannot stay fit. When he finds the back of the net, he finds the back of the net. Honestly, undoubtedly, he is a fantastic striker, and we certainly need cover for Alexander Isak, who yet again, and I have said this, I'll reiterate myself, is certainly prone to the odd injury as well. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, it's not sort of an injury update given to us by Eddie Howe, but many people have been asking me, is Tino Livramento fit for this game? Is Lewis Hall fit for this game? He's not given us any clear indication. He's not actually spoke on the both of them, but both players, I think Tino got subbed on in the 78th minute against Tottenham Hotspur at St James's Park in that emphatic win. And of course, Lewis Hall got subbed on in the 88th minute. So I do believe if both players are having game time then, they've had more than a week to rest, I should believe, and I have said in this match preview as well, they will start against Crystal Palace. So without further ado, on to Crystal Palace. Now, this is a Crystal Palace team, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't your sort of mid-table every single season. They've got them big lumps up top, your Bentekes. They've got them Nathaniel Kleins at the back, your Joel Wards, who, by the way, are still there. We'll touch upon them very much soon. But look, this Crystal Palace team, Oliver Glasner's came in. No, the results haven't been the best all season round since he's came in. But of course, he's just come to a complete different country. He needs to implement his style of football. That certainly will take time. And recently, that looks very, very good as well. In their last 2 games, they've scored 6 goals, which is concluded of a 1-0 away win at Anfield, which, by the way, is nearly mission impossible. I believe the last team to win there was Leeds United. Of course, they're spending the season in the Championship. That shows how good Liverpool are at their home ground. Crystal Palace didn't care. They went up there and turned up. But of course, in their last game, they beat West Ham United 5-2 at Selhurst Park. They absolutely dominated them, outplayed them in every single way, shape or form. Barry Eze and, of course, Michael Olise, we will certainly touch upon there. The 2 main men in Crystal Palace's team. They both got on the the score sheet there, they're looking very, very great for Crystal Palace. Both players on the wing, very electric, very great pace, very skillful as well. Certainly, we will touch upon them. But also, ladies and gentlemen, I'm crediting Crystal Palace here. Now, that form, the last 2 games, it's not convincing enough for me. Yes, it's the last 2 games. Yes, they won away at Anfield, and they just beat West Ham 5-2. West Ham, who, of course, are up there in the league table, I believe, are the 8th for some reason. I think they are 8th. Of course, they've done that because they've been fantastic all season round. It's not convincing to me, Crystal Palace's form. In their last 24 games, they've only won 6 games. Now, of course, Roy Hodgson was in charge for a fair few of them, but it's pretty shaky form when you've got the same players who were implemented in Roy Hodgson's system. It will come into change now. We can't just say because Oliver Glasner has just came in, we've got to cut him credit and he might win. In my opinion, it's not convincing for me at all. Crystal Palace are still there for the taking. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we were going to talk about Michael Olise and Eberi Eze. They are fantastic players. And of course, Crystal Palace this season with Oliver Glasner have been setting up in a 3-4-3 formation, which, by the way, I really, really do like. Michael Olise will start on the right and Eberi Eze will start on the left. He's a very versatile player, by the way. If he wants to, he can roam into that 10 position, which in that formation, of course, they don't play with one. But if they somehow needed to, if they were going to change it up in the game, he can go there. Many other positions as well. But they will be the danger men for Crystal Palace, undoubtedly. But one man who's very, very underrated, by the way, and I have been watching Crystal Palace this season. It's not them 2 players there. I actually mentioned a couple in a sort of space of a minute. But one man who's certainly been underrated for me, it's Jean-Philippe Mateta. This guy is actually a very good striker. I don't know where it's come from because last season it looked like he couldn't hit a barn door, but this season his hold-up play, he's a very physical and tall striker, which, by the way, I think Dan Burn will sort of handle him very, very well and will need to as well because he's scored 6 goals in his last 8 games. But it's not just, like I said, putting the ball in the back of the net. His hold-up play and his physicality and his aerial threat. He's been very, very good for Crystal Palace recently, and I believe he's gone under the radar so much. And another player who's gone under the radar for Crystal Palace recently, in my opinion, no wonder we were actually linked with him, and genuinely it looked like we were going to buy him. It's Adam Wharton, who plays in that 8 or 6, wherever he's implemented in that style of Oliver Glasner's. He's been unbelievable for Palace. Seriously, he has. 20 years of age, came from Blackburn Rovers. I believe it was for £20 million as well. Honestly, he's been such a good player, and I've not heard anything about him at all. And one man at the back, who, of course, if we're not talking about these sort of flair players, so to speak, maybe not Adam Wharton in that discussion, but your Elise's and Eberi Eze's, of course, one man who's always impressed at Crystal Palace, maybe, of course, with the exception of the odd error, it's Joachim Andersen. I've always drew similarities from Andersen to Fabian Schär as well, ball-playing defender, so we know he's definitely got quality at the back. Either side of him in the 3-4-3 formation will be either Chris Richards on the left and Nathaniel Klein on the right. But ladies and gentlemen, look, when Crystal Palace are playing in this 3-4-3 formation, of course, Newcastle United will try and attack that with a 4-3-3. Harvey Barnes on the left, Anthony Gordon on the right, which is what I believe Eddie Howe will implement into this game because, look, Harvey Barnes, he's unbelievable on the left. Anthony Gordon is unbelievable on the left. But Gordon against Spurs, he was very, very good on the right, wasn't he? And Harvey Barnes, unfortunately, isn't as versatile as Anthony Gordon. If they want to interchange, if they want to sort of rotate in the game, they can. But as we know, Harvey Barnes, he's not as great on the right. His crossing isn't the best. So he's always on that left for that trademark finish. Cutting on the right, from the left, bang, into the bottom right corner or the top right corner, whatever he wants to do. But this will be so hard to break down in Crystal Palace's system. With that 3-4-3 formation, they've got Daniel Munoz on the right and Nathaniel Klein. On the left, they've got Tyreek Mitchell, who is a natural left back, but of course, he's advancing in this Crystal Palace formation. And they've got Chris Richards at left centre-back. And of course, they've got Joachim Andersen, Will Hughes and Adam Wharton in that midfield as well. They are a very defensive sort of style play team, which have got so much defensive cover there. They've essentially got 2 right backs and 2 left backs, and then they've got a fantastic midfielder in there as well. So it's going to be so hard to break them down. And what Newcastle United need to do is certainly be clinical, which, by the way, it's been a very downside of ours this season, hasn't it? Maybe not so much recently. We've scored a fair few goals, but look, it's cost us so many times this season, maybe with the exception of Alexander Isak. How clinical is he? He gets a half chance. He's scoring that every day of the week. But unfortunately, although Anthony Gordon has been superb recently, and Harvey Barnes, even he likes your Sean Longstaffs, when a chance comes to them, Actually, maybe I take Anthony Gordon out of this situation. He's been so good this season. But maybe your Harvey Barnes, your Sean Longstaffs who pick up the ball in a random area. They're not putting the ball in the back of the net every single time, which against Crystal Palace, where it's always hard for us. Like I said, the last 4 times we've played them, we've drew 0-0 each time. Of course, a 4-0 thump, and that's in James's Park. But when it's going to be so hard, as it always is at Selhurst Park, and they've got such defensive cover, we need to be clinical in this game. And to top it off with Crystal Palace, before we move on to the fantastic Newcastle United, we've got some injury news on Crystal Palace. That Mark Guehi, who of course is a very well-known centre-back at Crystal Palace, rightly so as well. He's absolutely unbelievable. 24 years of age, I believe he is. Of course, he's been with the England squad as well when he wasn't injured. Very great player. He's going to be missing in this game. Of course, Oliver Glasner said in a recent press conference, Mark Guehi and Jefferson Lerma, who also was playing first-team football for Crystal Palace. It's centre-back, by the way. He's normally number 6. Them two players will be missing out of Newcastle United's game because he said they will be back for the Manchester United game, which is in game week 36 for Crystal Palace. That's quite a long way away. They will not be back for this game. But I just want to say, before we move on to Newcastle, hats off to Crystal Palace. Oliver Glasner is certainly trying to come in there and bring something different. It's not just your boring mid-table Crystal Palace. Mid-table every single season. Ben Tech is, you've got the lot there. That's not what he's trying to implement there. He's trying to put in a style of football, which I can certainly appreciate. 3-4-3. It's a formation I really do like. So it's going to be hard for us, but moving on to Newcastle United, 3 wins in our last 4 games, and it's so agonising, ladies and gentlemen. It should have been 4 in our last 4. Every single point is so vital at this stage in the season when we want to get your Europa Leagues, put Champions League out of the equation, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, I put that out of the equation. Your Conference Leagues, if Man United sort of pick up their lucky form, what seems to be recently, honestly, they could play terrible for 90 minutes. You send it up to your Garnachos or your Hoyland, they're scoring a goal in the last minute, they win 1-0, and they'll get battered off your likes of Bournemouth, Luton, they'll get battered off them and somehow beat them. Honestly, they annoy me so much. But look, 3 wins in our last 4 games, and it should have been 4 in our 4, but we'll not fret over that. We're going into this game with much better form than Crystal Palace, red hot form, ladies and gentlemen, and what has kind of been a downside in Newcastle United in this season, it's been our away form recently. We win away against Craven Cottage at Fulham, although we got battered in that first half. I don't know how Fulham didn't put 3 past us in that first half. We still came away there with the 3 points. Selhurst Park, it almost feels like a different ball game because of what pans out there, but we can't speak about the past. This is the now. Yes, we've got injuries. Yes, Tonali's out, but we've got to go into this game with confidence, ambition, passion, determination, and I believe we will certainly get the 3 points. But look, like I said before, I believe our front 3 will be Harvey Barnes on the left, Alexander Isak up top, and Anthony Gordon on the right. In midfield, I don't think we've actually got any other options. Maybe if Lewis Hall went to midfield, but we'll get onto him in just a second because I believe he will start at left back. Left centre mid for Newcastle United, by the way. I'm going for a 4-3-3, a flat 3 in midfield. Left centre mid, it's got to be Elliot Anderson. He's been taking his chances recently, absolutely superbly. Last season, I was a very big doubter of him. And when I think about it now, I shouldn't have. That was no ball knowledge from Jody Josh there. Honestly, he just come back from a loan in League 2. And I was sort of, not praising him for performing in the Premier League. That's one of the biggest jumps you could ever do. That was certainly bad ball knowledge from me. That'll not happen again, honestly. That was a 15-year-old Jody Josh. This is a 17-year-old Jody Josh. But look, Elliot Anderson this season, physicality has went up massively. Going into tackles strongly. Superb, and of course he's got that versatility to go to left wing if we do need that as well. He's been fantastic, and I'm certainly happy with him starting at left centre mid. In the midfield area, Bruno Guimaraes. Honestly, the less said the better. I don't want to sort of melt all your ears with the praise I've got for Bruno, as would you as well. Right centre mid, Sean Longstaff. A decent performance at Spurs at home. Not the best, but I will say certainly improvement on what has been recently. Let's hope you can sort of bring that into this game because I want Sean Longstaff just to succeed at Newcastle United, man. Jody lad, I've rinsed him this season so badly, man, and I do feel so bad. Put a good performance in against Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. Let's get Europe for the end of the season. He will be a rotation player next season when Tonali comes back, when Joe Linton fully comes back. Then we've got Willocks, Elliot Andersons, Brunos, Miley's. He will be a rotation player next season, and I really want him to stay at Newcastle as well. I wouldn't even sell him, keep him there behind the scenes. But look, yes, Longstaff, Bruno, and Elliot Anderson in that midfield. Left back Lewis Hall, right back Tino Livramento, which I'm absolutely buzzing with. 2 centre backs, left centre back Dan Burn, which by the way, he's been exceptional left centre back, hasn't he? At left back, it genuinely is a different ball game. Honestly, man, you don't need to be a good winger. You just need to be fast, and you're doing Dan Burn. But at left centre-back, even he said it's his preferred position. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to realise that as well. He's superb at left centre-back. Left back, like I said, different ball game. Right centre-back, Fabian Schär, up there with being one of the most players of the season in my opinion. So consistent, 30 plus years old, £3 million by the way. Oh my god, if not for Jamie Vardy or Seamus Coleman, probably the best buy ever in Premier League history. Of course, in goal, Martin Dubravka, there's no discussion there. But in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, look, we will go into this game with what Anthony Gordon's, with what Alexander Isak's, with what Bruno's, and I hope that can win us the game, and I believe it will. If there is anything in this game that will cause us a threat, of course it is that front three of Crystal Palace. I'm not discrediting the rest of the team, by the way, of course. Kim Anderson, Adam Wharton, even Dean Henderson in goal, who looks like a backup keeper for Crystal Palace, with Sam Johnston being injured. But them three players there, maybe with the exception of Dean Henderson actually, are very, very good players. But look, it's going to be Elise and Barriesi, isn't it? They are the most spoken about players at Crystal Palace. The pace, the end product as well. Michael Elise, he can put it in from anywhere. We've seen that, was it this season he scored that unbelievable free kick against Manchester United at Selhurst Park? What a goal that was. We really need to be wary of them too. But I believe if we do start Lewis Hall and Tino Livramento, which is why I would start them, is to match the pace of them two players. They are the danger men. And of course, Fabian Shaw and Dan Burn, with our both centre-backs, should be able to cope with Jean-Philippe Mateta, although being a very good striker this season. Not discrediting Palace at all. Away from that, best of luck for the season after this game, Crystal Palace. Go and beat Manchester United for us in Game Week 36, please. But to top the video off with the score prediction, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to say 3-1 to Newcastle United. I believe we'll get the job done. I'm going to be frankly, although I've gave Crystal Palace so much deserved credit in this game, I do believe we'll get the job done, and we have to get the job done as well. I've reiterated it so much. Every single game is a must-win game. I'm sure that Eddie Howe would have done that as well. But look, ladies and gentlemen, I really enjoyed that match preview. I don't know about you, but I love making these videos, man. Honestly, if you haven't liked already, hit that like button, please. Subscribe if you are new around here. Turn them notification bells on. And, of course, let me know your score prediction. I've went with a 3-1 win to Newcastle United. Without further ado, I've been Geordie Josh. Go and enjoy your day, people. Oh, and before I forget to mention, of course, we'll be doing a live watch-along tomorrow, Wednesday night, 7:30 start. See you all there. Go and enjoy your day.